Long before Dr. Oz knew that he would become a grifting right-winger and try to enter the US Senate, he was making media appearances. And back in 2014, he appeared on the morning show, The Breakfast Club, and it got unfortunate. Take a look.
Okay, so he said, I can't stop smashing my cousin. We hooked up at a young age, and now in our 20s, she still wants it. No matter how much I want to stop, I always give it to her. Help me. Now, what advice would you give that person?
If you're more than a first cousin away, it's not a big problem.
Okay, so second cousin.
Yeah.
It's fun to smash.
You know, it's so funny because I knew that.
Yeah.
How did you know that?
Because you
I'm from
smashed
the
it.
country.
It's
Third cousins.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's all good.
Oh,
Because they say
God.
first cousins, you might end up with a kid with like Down syndrome or something.
Well, it's not that. So every family has genetic strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason we naturally crave people who are not so like us is because you just have to mix the gene pool up a little bit, so that if I have one gene for, let's say, hemophilia, which is a classic example, where you bleed a lot if you cut yourself. And I don't want to marry a cousin who has the same hemophilia gene, because the chance of our child having both those genes is much higher.
Okay.
But for the vast majority of problems, that it's not an issue. But that's why girls don't like their father's smell. Their pheromones will actually repel their daughters because they're not supposed to be together.
Right.
And so my daughters hate my smell.
Well, maybe you just smelled.
Yeah, I think they were bringing it back to the smashing, which I don't think we need to hear him talking about smashing that much. But if it's beyond first cousins, it's not a problem. Second cousins, smash away, says the good doctor. Maybe someday it'll be codified into legislation. Anyway, JR, it's just one hit after another with this guy. He's a goofball, and he should have known going into an election that some of the goofiness was gonna come out.
Yeah, we will say at least this was a resurfaced video. He didn't say this just now. But it seems like he's doing his best Dr. Drew impression. I remember Dr. Drew and Adam Carolla used to do a love line, I think is what it was. And people would call him with these crazy types of questions like this. And Carolla would make fun a little bit and joke. And Dr. Drew would give the medical approach and be very serious. And I'm wondering if that was the thought process. He's like, I'm on this radio show. They're talking about smash. I've never heard of that term before. And then goes to talking about the medical behind the real facts behind it. Well, you can smash your cousin as long as it's the second cousin, because he went to actual details there. Just kind of don't. Again, this is maybe before he had any thought of running for office. And maybe this is why you maybe want to review what you said and done and thought about and had a TV show for I don't know how long. You may have said other things that people can dig up later and go, what was this about? Which, by the way, has nothing to do with whatever he says he's gonna do in office. So credit there, at least for people who may want to defend him on this. But what does he want to do in office? I don't think we have that answer either.
100%, yeah, and you gotta know your audience. I mean, maybe that stuff flies in New Jersey, but in Pennsylvania, I don't think they're gonna be a fan of it. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, yeah. Look, I think he is dangerous, less for what he was in 2014 than what he needs to be to succeed these days. He wasn't a MAGA person. He wasn't interested in that. The fact that he would enthusiastically like cosplay this sort of radical insanity, that's way scarier than him thinking you can smash a second cousin or whatever. There's plenty of stuff in his past that you can also be worried about. The fact that he was a massive con artist, that's a big issue. This is just the latest con. But anyway, it's not the news cycle that this guy needs. I imagine Fetterman is gonna hit him on this. Well, first of all, he already tweeted yet another issue where Oz and I disagree. Fetterman on the record against cousin smashing. Let's be clear about that.
The way he's running this campaign, all the voters in Pennsylvania are gonna feel like his daughters and be repelled by him and his smell.
Yeah, I wish that pheromone thing worked both ways, because Ivanka has always seemed repelled by Trump. It just doesn't work the other way. Damn, damn genes, they're wily creatures.